Oh, I love My Four Wheels. Honestly, they're a nationwide company. I feel that the value for money was excellent. They were so friendly. I felt really listened to. I felt like I was literally back in the driving seat. I could explain what I needed, what I required to learn and to process and to absorb the information.
What was different about My Four Wheels was that they foster confidence in the student by putting them first, and they also adapt their learning approach and environment to suit the student, because no one method is going to fit everyone.
I think I went for My Four Wheels due to the fact of how easy it was to book the lessons online. And the reason why I stuck with them was my initial meeting with the instructor. It was just really, really nice, really friendly, and they created a really comfortable environment for me to learn.
Looking back at it, it was really structured. At the end of each lesson, we had our progress charts, so you could physically see how much you were progressing. And then with that, you always knew that the next lesson, this is what you would be aiming to do or achieve.
I was a really anxious person while driving at the first few lessons, and I was a bit of a nervous wreck. And Andy recognised that and really helped slow down, think about what you're doing. It's okay if you're anxious, but just slow down.
Initially, driving was very, very difficult for me to begin with. Just getting that whole management with the gear changing, the pedals. But with My Four Wheels, I think their level of teaching really helped me learn really quickly.
The lessons were testing, loved them, but testing. I honestly hated driving, but Andy was really good at putting me at ease. I think I had only 2 meltdowns.
I've been learning to drive for 20 years and had 7 different driving instructors. I had been let go by 2 who had suggested that maybe driving wasn't for me. They said driving isn't for everybody and I don't think it's for you.
It's a massive challenge learning how to drive, especially I think as a older student, I guess, being in my 30s. My reflexes aren't as quick, so therefore I have to take that extra bit of time.
The instruction suits all ages, I'd say, regardless if you're an old lady or someone who just came fresh out of high school.
The reason I succeeded with My Four Wheels was the care and attention applied to me as an individual. I was seen as an individual, whereas I feel like perhaps beforehand I was just seen, as a number, whereas with My Four Wheels I was seen as Jessica.
I think one of the best things about My Four Wheels is the combination of the big nationwide company and the small local instructors that they provide.
What I really love about My Four Wheels is, although it is a national company, it feels very bespoke on a local level. So although they are huge, on a personal level, you feel like you were being looked after.
I think the main difference with My Four Wheels was that Andy especially would not get immediately angry or upset if I made a mistake, but just coach me through it and help me. If I forget this, remember this. If I forget this, remember that. And he would teach me mnemonics and short things to just keep in my mind that would help the student learn best.
It was such a relaxed learning environment which really encouraged me and gave me the space to ask questions, to repeat myself and to feel that I could go over and over and over again different things until I felt that I had nailed it.
They're extremely empathetic, especially when you're having a bit of a tough day. If I was anxious or a bit nervous one day or just up in my head, they were just really good at sort of adapting their lesson to that.
What I really liked about My Four Wheels was how easy the website was to use and just how available the lessons were initially. And that first phone call I had with them was quite reassuring.
I found My Four Wheels on just searching on the internet. The website was really intuitive, it was informative, really easy to use.
I went through what they offered, their prices, and their method of instruction, and I really liked it.
I think if I was going to sum up why you would book with My Four Wheels, it would be because they're friendly, approachable, really easy to use.
I really would recommend them because how punctual they were, how reliable they were, how professional, and just overall a very friendly service to drive with.
It has made a huge difference to my life to have that freedom to just be able to hop into my little car and go wherever I want. It's just been a dream come true, really.
I think day of the test, I started off quite nervous, but then having that moment to sort of drive to the test, it sort of settled your nerves. And then luckily, it was pretty quick and easy. It it was over in a flash. And I was driving back to the test centre thinking, I think I've done it. And then you get told that you do pass, and then it was a massive relief, absolutely massive. It changed my life, to be honest.
It took me so much longer to learn how to drive, but once I found 4 wheels, the process became so much quicker. I went from being anxious to get into my driving license every week to looking forward to them.
I think driving nowadays is really important. I remember when I passed my test, I was really delighted because I was able to get around on my own, drive to work, drive to uni, see my friends. It felt like a passport to freedom.
When they told me I passed, it was such a relief. And my instructor was sitting behind me in the back seat, and I just reached around and gave a high five because it was an absolute weight off of my mind. I actually didn't think I passed, but I did.
I feel so blessed to have found my 4 wheels. It has changed my life. I've been learning to drive for 20 years, never managed to pass my test, and then I had 12 weeks with Trudy at my 4 wheels, and I managed to pass my test age 37.